morning, everybody. So, we've still got one more person as it is. So this is Yoga Pilates Fusion. It might be Yoga Pilates Fusion with interference. We'll see how this goes. So we're gonna start in a seated butterfly position. So we're gonna bring the feet together and fold forward. Now, if your knees need a little extra support, you could do like a block under each knee. My favorite is to use a blanket. So if you take a blanket, roll it up so that you've got kind of a little tube that you can stick under both knees. And it's a little softer, so you can pull it tighter up against the thighs or bring it further down towards the shins, and you might find the just right spot. So kick your sit bones out a bit. And we're gonna let the back get a little round for this. Let yourself take some deep breaths. And so you could also sub in a child's pose in place of this pose if you would like to do child's pose instead. Breaths here, just checking things out and leaning into one hip and then the other to see if there's any differences in the side of my waist or in my hip. Big inhale. Hold that one in, come all the way up. And just notice the way that kind of leaves you. For me, a pose like that leaves me kind of feeling a little bit more centered as opposed to some other pose. Makes me feel a little brighter. This one is a little bit more cooling and calming for me. Now, it may or may not be true for you, but pause for a moment. Now you can come to any cross-legged position. You can stay with the butterfly legs. We're going to take the chin and just drop it down. And so see if you can bring your spine, your back, into kind of a nice neutral position. Not too intense, just, you know, stacked up. And then roll the head up and over one shoulder. Bring it back. Roll it up and over the other shoulder. So we're just going to go side to side. Over to the left side with the head. And when you get your head in a position where you can feel this muscle right here in the front of your neck stretching, that's what we're after. So the head's going to go slightly back at the diagonal. Then we're going to take the collarbone and stretch it away. So for me, it helps to reach out to the side, even pull that collarbone a little wider. Now gently roll the head so that now the stretch is going to come up to the back of the neck a little bit. We're going to draw the shoulder blade down nice and firm. like kind of come back to neutral, bring your chin down to the center. Just pause for a moment. And then we're gonna roll the head over to the right. And again, we're gonna take it so that we feel this kind of little stretch of the front of the neck here. Collarbone goes wide, head goes back towards the left or right side diagonal. And then roll the head just a bit so that the stretch kind of moves into the up, back kind of part of the neck, upper part of the back. And draw your shoulder blade down. For me, one side is definitely tighter than the other. This may or may not be true for you, but notice what is. And then when you're ready, you'll bring your arm back to the center, your head back to the center, and let your head float up. And then just notice. So we'll take the shoulders up, around, and back. We'll bring them forward, bring them up, bring them around. Biggest kind of range of motion that your shoulders are willing to do. When you get down to the bottom, go the other direction. All right, so when the shoulders are nice and kind of back to a mostly neutral position, pause there, get a little bit taller, whatever leg is on top. If you've got your legs even, just pick a side. We're gonna twist towards that side. Now you can put your hand on your knee or on your thigh, another hand behind you, sit up nice and tall, rotate the head towards the back, and then rotate it towards the front shoulder. We're just gonna do that a couple more times, rotating it towards the back, and rotating it towards the front. And then one more. On back to the center, switch which leg is in front if you can. Sit up nice and tall. This can be the tricky bit. Twist the other way. Now, for me, it takes a second for my back to want to twist all the way, so I'm just going to be a little gentle with that. Turn your head towards the back. Turn the head towards the front. And I'm trying as best I can to keep my chin as level as possible. So see what happens if you try that as well. One more time. And just come around out of your twist. So we're going to take the legs out into a V. They just don't have to be a really wide V. We're just going to kind of sweep side to side. So we'll sweep over to the right and then over to the left, to the right, and to the left, to the right. Pause right there, give yourself a little bit more stretch in that area, and I added a little bit of rotation too. Come on back up, go to the left, pause there. Maybe give it a little bit more rotation, a little bit more length. Coming on up, we're gonna come up to an all fours position. So, to start with, turn your hands a little bit forward so the fingertips point forward. You can move the hands a little bit forward of the shoulder or have them more under the shoulder. And then we're going to drop the belly and then round the back. So we've got these two flexion and extension shapes for the back. So as I move into each shape, try to get some movement both in the lumbar, the lower back, and in the shoulder area. Turn your palms if you can so the fingertips point out to the side, and do a couple more of those. Now this is the trickiest one, so I'm going to turn one hand forward and see if I can turn one hand all the way back, and then just lean back a little bit. You can round your back or do a sway back. Away, give that hand a little rinse. That went down, spin the other one around. you back a little bit. Let that one go, give it a little rinse. Now we're gonna take the knees a little on the wide side. We're gonna take one hand, I'm gonna start with my right hand, take it underneath the left armpit. Make sure your head can rest comfortably on the floor. You might have to shift the weight a little closer to your heels. And then the spare hand, you can either reach up and kind of twist yourself a little bit more, or you can wrap it over your back if you like. And take a few more deep breaths here. Looking at the world underneath one armpit. Take a big inhale, and then we're going to come out of here. Give that arm a little bit of a rinse, and we'll do the opposite side. So take the left arm underneath, adjust the pose as you like. I like to press my shoulder down and then kind of push myself backwards into that stretch. One more big breath. Good, so we're going to come out of there, bring that left arm out, take the left arm up front and take the right leg back behind you, give it a nice long stretch. Draw in through the sides of the waist, 2 more breaths. Bring that side down, take the opposite side up, left leg, right arm, give it a nice long stretch. Draw in through the sides of the waist. Good, 1 more breath. Bring both of those down. Now, if you can do downward dog, that's where we're heading next. If downward dog is not an appropriate pose, you can stay within all fours position or come to a forward bend that's right for you. Okay. So, taking this downward dog, I like my hands about shoulder distance apart, and then we're going to let the neck get kind of loose and move the shoulder blades up and down a little bit. Let the shoulder blades glide towards your hips, hug the armpits a little bit towards each other, and then work with your feet so that we get into the calf muscles, maybe the hamstrings. There comes a point where you can no longer hang out with the pose. Definitely walk your hands and feet together. So you can do feet or hands, right? Whichever's going to work better. And then we're going to take the feet and just kind of wiggle them out. A little wider than the hips, maybe as wide apart as the mat. If you've got a kind of regular rectangular yoga mat, it'll be about that size. I've got my toes turned slightly out. You can also try them slightly in and see how that works for you. We're going to sway over to one side. I'm going to the left first. And then I'm going to try to straighten out my right leg. Bend the right knee, straighten out the left leg. I'm just going to do that one more time. Right leg straighter, left knee a little bent. Left leg straighter, right knee a little bent. Come back to the center, both knees a little soft. And then coming over to the right side. Left leg a little straight. Right leg a little straight. And maybe it goes all the way straight, maybe it doesn't. Left one, right one, one more time. Left one, right one. Come on back to the middle. Gonna come up a little heel toe, bring the legs closer together. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. And then we're gonna come all the way up to standing. And feel your vertebrae in your spine. Take that standing position, give yourself a nice big stretch. Oh. All right, yogis. So we're going to walk to the top of our mat. And from here, we're going to pause, notice the breath, spread out your toes, And just feel, are your feet about hips distance apart? Are your toes pointing forward? Make that so. Keep a little softness in both the hips and the knees so neither of those is locked out. Engage a bit through the core. Let the shoulder blades drop down your back. See what it feels like to be right here in this moment. What does it feel like around your shoulders, around your hips? And take a nice big breath. Now you can extend your arms all the way up kind of sideways, or you can just come straight up the middle. Fold forward. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're gonna step back with the left foot first, and we're gonna come into a warrior one shape. So right toes are pointing forward, left toes are pointing slightly at the diagonal. Come up when you feel like you're ready. You can throw some blocks in underneath your hands if you like as we're doing that. We're gonna hold steady with the legs. Now, there's a tendency to want to square this hip forward. Be mindful of that. That can cause trouble for your knee. Just let your legs go where they are. If it feels like you're on a tightrope, I feel a little bit like I'm on a tightrope. I'm just gonna wiggle my right foot a little to the right so I make a wider base. Now we're gonna bring the arms up, pull them back behind you, press them forward, bring them up, pull them back behind you, push them forward one more time, bring them up, pull them back behind you. Now we're gonna push forward, bring the left arm underneath the right arm, see if you can catch hold of your hand. It may not work out. And then keep pressing the legs away from each other as you lift the elbows and draw the shoulder blades down. We're going to take 2 more breaths. Now releasing the arms, we're going to fold forward with a long spine stretch. And then we're going to roll ourselves up one vertebrae at a time. So reaching up, you can use your arms, stretch forward, reach through the spine. If you need a little extra support, put your hands on blocks or on your thighs, and then roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Trying to feel each one slide into place. We're going to come down one more time. Stretch out. Now pause here. Reach both arms out to the diagonal and let yourself kind of ouch, fall inward. No one else is awake, are they? But I am not your playmate right now, damn it. One more breath. And then we're gonna step ourselves back to downward dog. Oh, maybe. And then come forward into a plank. Now you can maintain a modified plank. You can take one leg in the air to make it more challenging. Oh, a full plank, you can maintain a modified plank. Stop. Go away. Hold steady for 2 more breaths. No, stop it. All right, we're lowering down. Now, coming into Cobra, hands about chest height, fingers spread out, reach through the legs, anchor yourself, lift. Come on back down, hands a little further back, anchor yourself, lift. Beautiful, come on back. Slide the hands back a little bit, anchor and lift. Beautiful. Now we're gonna pick the right leg up, bring it over so that we wind up laying on our back. And from here, we're gonna bring this right leg in, give it a little bit of a snuggle, spin that foot in circles. Go the other direction. Point and flex a couple times. Now, we're gonna hug in. You can curl up and reach past your leg, or you can bring your hands behind your head and use your head to kind of anchor back into the hands so that your neck stays nice and stable. Float that left leg up. We're gonna exhale, curl in. Inhale, switch legs. Exhale, curl in. Try to stay straight up the middle. Reach through the leg that's going away from you. Be mindful of trying to pull on your neck. Use the abdominal muscles to curl yourself in. Two more. Bring the legs in, We're gonna go all the way back around, so we're gonna stretch out, roll back, come back up into down dog. Pick that left leg up. Exhale, bring it in nice and tight. Inhale, stretch it back. Exhale, bring it in nice and tight. Stretch it back one more time. And then bring it forward as far as it'll go in one step. Step your right foot up to meet it. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to standing. Give it a nice big stretch. And then come back to mountain pose. Giving yourself a moment to just pause and feel. So again, feet point forward, hips distance apart, a little soft in the knees and the hips, a little tall in the torso. Is one side different than the other? Take a nice big breath. You can sweep your arms up or just reach them up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're stepping back with the right foot. Come into warrior one. Come in up. So find your footing. Make sure you like the way it landed. We're going to bring the elbows back. Push them forward. Bring them up. Bring them back. Push them forward. Bring them up. One more time. Bring them back. Push them forward. Now the right arm goes on the bottom. Maybe catch the hand if you can. Stretch into the legs in two directions. Shoulder blades as deep as you can make them, yogis. Last breath here. Release the arms. So we're going to stretch our spine forward, fold over, and then roll yourself up. And try to concentrate on feeling those little vertebrae catch themselves right into place. Stretch. Or glide themselves right into place. Don't rush it, it's worth it. One more time, stretch out. We're gonna come to the diagonal, reach both arms out, and sink into this little shoulder opening. Legs are strong. All right, 2 more breaths. And then we're gonna walk this thing back to downward dog. Coming forward into plank. So again, you can maintain the full plank. You can do a one leg in the air. You can modify your plank. Pick a plank that's right for you. Hold it steady. Nice big breath. And then we're lowering down. Coming into cobra. Slide the hands back a little bit. Come into cobra. Slide the hands back so they line up with the bottom of your rib cage. Lift into cobra. Draw the elbows back and now float the legs up. Be cautious about overdoing it with the neck, but see if you can pick your rib cage up off the floor any higher. One more breath here. We're going to melt down. We're going to take this left leg, bring it over, and roll onto the back. You might have to do a little finagling to stay on your mat. All right, yogis. Take that left leg, give it a little hug. Spin your left foot in circles. Left foot going the other direction. And then point and flex. So we're going to keep this left knee toward us. Bring in the hands behind the head. We're going to float that right leg up. We're going to curl up towards that left knee for 2, 3. Come back to the middle, both knees in. Extend your left leg, curl up. 1, 2, 3. Come back to the center. Right leg goes out, stretch through it. 1, 2, 3. Coming back. 1, 2, 3. Inhale to the center. Exhale into the twist. Keep going, yogis. We got one more set to go. Come in on back. Release your head. You can do a little windshield wipers with your legs. Give yourself a nice big stretch. And then we're going to take that whole thing back, onto the belly. Oh. And we'll press ourselves back into downward dog. Now, take the right leg up, bring it in, take it back, bring it in, take it back, give it a good stretch. Step it forward as far as it'll go in one step. Left foot up to meet it. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to standing. Give yourself a big stretch. And then find that mountain pose again. I like noticing if it's different each time I come to the mountain pose. So we're going to sink like a tiny bit if we're going into a chair pose. Shift the weight into the right leg. You're going to take this left leg and bring it up so that the ankle crosses over the thigh. If that doesn't work out, cross the shin, and that'll be okay. And then you can have chair arms or praying hands, or reach the arms back behind you. If you want to lace them together, you can do that too. Try to hold the balance. Keep your eyes steady, it helps. Maybe. One more breath. We're going to pick this left leg up and step back into warrior two. So kind of fiddle with the hips until it feels like you're in pretty good shape. And then we're going to do this mermaid action. So we're going to come back, stretch out through that side, and now actively stretch through your waist to take this side. So stretch through the waist, and stretch through the waist. I like to do these with my eyes closed, so I like a little touchdown so I can keep track. Stretch. One more. Okay. Now we're going to straighten out this front leg. We're going to ease our way into a triangle pose. You can hold on to your shin or your ankle. You can float your hand, or you can use a little block. So feel yourself lengthen through the sides of the waist on both the top and the bottom. Rotate the rib cage as best you can. And then we're going to take this top arm and just try to make it part of the ribs, part of the upper back, rather than hyperextend it like that. Can you just let it go with the shoulder? And sometimes there's reasons to hyperextend, but for now, let's just see if we can make it feel floaty. Take one more big breath here. And then we're going to come around to the center. So we're going to turn both feet in. They don't have to be pigeon-toed. You can have a little bit of a slight outward point. That's fine. Just feel it out with your knees. And then we're going to fold into this. And it might be okay to walk your hands through the legs and draw yourself in a little deeper. It might be better if you have a little bit more of a bend in your knee to try to make something like that happen. If you can, if it feels okay, let your neck just release with this weight of your skull. 2 more breaths here. Alrighty, so now we're gonna come up, wander ourselves around. We're gonna wind up stepping back into down dog. Notice how that feels. Come forward for your plank, choose your plank. We're holding it for 4 breaths. Last one. And then lower down. Come into cobra. Little baby cobra. And then again, little baby cobra. Work your legs. And this might be a little bit bigger, but last one here. Beautiful. So we're gonna extend the right arm. We're gonna roll onto our side. I might be too close to the plants. No, I'm all right. Stack your hips one on top of the other. You're gonna stack the shoulders one on top of the other. If you bring your legs a little bit forward, it'll give you more stability. Lining the legs up makes it a little more challenging. Lifting both legs off the floor makes it very challenging. Choose the level of challenge that's right for you. If you need more stability, bring your hand forward. Less stability, you can bring the arm into different positions around the hip or around the head. All right, so we're gonna take the top leg, external rotation just a little bit so the heels are together but the toes are separated. We're gonna take this top leg up with a pointy toe and then bring it down with a flexed foot. We're gonna try that 5 more times. Try to hold the sides of your waist still. Two more. And we're not going fast. This is really meant to be done in a kind of slow way so that we really feel all the muscle. So lifting up the hip, the leg, so it's about a little higher than the hip, an inch or so. We're gonna go forward and then swing back. Okay, being mindful of the back direction and the forward direction. We're trying to keep the torso, again, very stable here. Forward and back as far as you can go without losing that stability. Forward and back. Draw in through the sides of your waist. Forward and back. Forward and back. 2 more. Forward. All right, coming back to the center, we're gonna pause, bring the heels together. Bring the heels around behind your buttocks or pretty close. And then lift the feet higher. Knees are resting on the floor and on top of each other. Open the 2 knees so you get a V. Kick that top leg out straight if that doesn't bother your knee or your hip. Bring the toes back together, close it up. Open, extend, come back, close. Try to make it 4 distinct movements. Nice and smooth. Hopefully these muscles on the outer part of our hip and maybe even these muscles here on the inner part are getting a little bit tired. Good, we got 3 more. Nice and steady. Last one. All right, so bring the knees together. We're gonna extend the legs back out. The top leg is gonna swing forward. You can do that in a variety of ways. I'm gonna do that because it's nice to stretch this little area where I just was working. Lift your bottom leg up and reach through that leg so it's a little bit longer. We're gonna lift the side waist here on the right, on the bottom. And then we're gonna pulse this leg up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw a circle in one direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw a circle the other direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center, pulse it up. 10, 9, 8. Keep that side waist lifting. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let that leg rest. We're coming all the way back to the belly. Pause for a moment. You can give yourself a little shake. Oh. And then we're taking it back into downward dog. Oh, that feels kind of nice. Take that left leg, reach it up. Exhale, bring that leg in, curl up around it. Inhale, stretch it back. Bring it in. Stretch it back, give it a good long stretch, maybe even hook it over your back. Press into the right heel. Whew. And then we're gonna step it forward as far as it'll go. Bring the right foot up to meet it. Come up halfway, fold, and come all the way up to standing. Give it a nice big stretch. Oh. We're gonna find that mountain pose. Ooh. I think it's exciting. Can you feel the difference? One side to the other. We do a bunch of stuff on our left side. Maybe that side feels a little more alive. Speaking of doing things on our left side, we're gonna sink in a bit. Put all the weight in that left leg. Bring your right leg up. We'll try to find the balance given the how tired these muscles might be. It might be fun to find out how this is gonna go. Two more breaths, yogis. Last one. All right, so we're gonna pick up this leg and step back into warrior two. Again, make adjustments as you need to get everything nice and stable feeling. And then we'll do the mermaid. Oh, that feels nice. And over, stretch. Back. Oh, stretch. Over. Oh. Two more. And last one. All right. So we're gonna straighten out this leg and kind of morph ourselves into our triangle pose. Again, try to marry your rib cage and the shoulder blade and your arm all into one another, so it's one big wing coming from the middle of your back. And then move it up with the ribs if it'll go up. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe, yogis. Two more. All right, so then we're going to dissolve this into a wide angle forward bend. Now this one we're going to turn into a bit of a squat. So we're going to let the knees turn out, hands to the thighs, and then come into a wide squat. I'm going to turn around just because I think it'll be easier for you to see what I'm about to do. So we're going to take the right shoulder forward, and the left shoulder, we're going to try to peel that back and look up toward the left. And then draw the shoulder blades in that kind of different direction and come back, okay? Left shoulder goes forward, right shoulder comes back, look toward the right, and then draw the shoulder blades around in those directions. Coming back, we're going to do it 2 more times. Right shoulder blade forward, left shoulder blade back. Twist that upper back. Come back to the middle. Left shoulder blade forward, right shoulder blade back. Twist your upper back. Come on back to the middle. Last round. Right shoulder blade forward, left shoulder blade back. Coming back to the middle one more time. Left shoulder blade forward. And then come on back to the center. We're going to straighten out the legs. We're going to rinse out the shoulders. You can rinse out your neck while you're here. And then when you're ready, we're walking it around to down dog. And again, we're going to come forward into plank. This is our last one, so pick the plank that's right for you. We're going to hold it for 4 breaths. Lift through your navel. Last one. Lower it down. I'm going to come into the cobras again. First one, little baby cobra. Second one, a little farther back with the hands, elbows a little farther back. Last one, about lined up with your waist. Lift and then lift the legs. Draw the elbows back. See if you can get that rib cage off the ground a little bit more. Reach through the legs. One more breath here. And then we're going to roll onto the left side, which I wish I remembered that I was doing that right away. Then I wouldn't have to do the switcheroo. But here we are. I could have done my downward dog the other way, y'all. Okay, so now we've got hips on top, shoulders on top. You're gonna put your hand wherever it's gonna be best for you. Rotate the legs a little bit so that the toes are a little separated, heels are touching. And then the top leg is gonna go up, flex the foot to come down. It's almost like you're trying to make your leg longer. So reach as you come up, reach as you go down. Beautiful, 2 more. Now hovering the leg, we're gonna swing it forward and swing it back. And again, we're trying to avoid losing control here at the navel. So squeeze the sides of your waist towards the center line. Try to stay as stable as you can. As soon as there's work, that's enough, right? You don't have to go further behind or further in front. You just want to feel like, where is it that I go to the point where I'm having to really work to stabilize? And that's the sweet spot. 2 more of those. Okay, so we're coming back. We're going to bring the feet together, bring them behind us, lift the feet up. So now the knees are together, hips are stacked. We're going to open, extend if that's okay with your knee, bring it back, close it up. All right? Nice and steady and smooth. Like we're working against the resistance of the water. It's imaginary water ballet, yogis. 4 more. And last one. When you come down, you're going to straighten your legs back out. We're going to bring that top leg forward. We're going to bring the bottom leg up and then lift the side waist there on your left. And then we're going to, hovering that leg, we're going to pulse it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make a circle in one direction. 3, 2, 1. Make a circle go in the other way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pulse it again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg down. We're going to roll over onto our back this time. Oh. And then, oh, didn't that feel good? Give yourself a little moment here to just rinse everything out. Oh, there's a block in my way. Hold on. Okay. Whew. I'll tell you what, yogis. Oh, that felt good. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of work with the bridge pose, and then we're gonna do a little hip flexor stretch. It is helpful to have something to lift yourself up onto. So I'm gonna use this conveniently located yoga block, but you could use your blanket if you had a blanket at the beginning. Just put that same rolled up blanket under your hips. We'll get to that in a second, but it's nice to have it within reach. So if you've got your yoga block, get it. If you don't, you can go grab one. All right, so starting with some bridge pose, we're gonna keep the feet, pretty stable. Snuggle your shoulder blades up. And we're gonna do this action called Vipadapitham, where we go up and then come down as best you can, one vertebrae at a time. So we're gonna lift the hips up. However high they go is how high they go, right? We all have different bone structure. And then you're gonna lower down one vertebrae at a time. I like to lift my toes up off the floor because it lets me work my pelvis a little bit more into that tilt, so I can try to get those lumbar vertebrae one at a time. And then when I get to the sacrum, I can let the whole thing kind of come back to neutral. All right, here we go. Swoop up. All right, and then we're gonna try to come down one vertebrae at a time. Just really coaxing it down. Beautiful. When you get to the bottom, you let it go. We're gonna do this twice more. So we're gonna take it up. Be mindful of putting pressure on your neck. Try to keep your shoulders as the base of support. slowed that one down. You guys might be done. It felt really nice to go really slow there. One more time if you're up for it. So like I'm right in the bra strap zone, and then one more, and then one more. Oh, it feels nice to try to get those little rib cage bones down one at a time. There's L5 and the sacrum. Oh, that's nice. Okay, yogis. I don't know about you, but I thought that felt pretty great. So we're gonna do this little bit of a stretch. So you may not need anything under your hips, but if you're up for it, take your hips up and stick either a block or a blanket underneath your pelvis. Make sure it's under the sacrum and not under the lumbar curve. And you want it under these big pelvic bones. Then we're gonna stretch one leg out. I'm gonna start with my left one because that's the easier side for me. And then bring your right leg in. Now you can hold on to the right leg. You could, if it's available, hold on to your right foot. You can just kind of bring it in, or you can do a little bit of like a pigeon shape. So if you rotate that leg externally, and I just hold on to my shin, but be mindful of your knee, and then stretch through this left side. This is what we're really after. Okay? So the right side is coming in to kind of give us a little bit of resistance, and then this left leg we're trying to stretch out toward the floor. If this is too much, you can always leave your right leg on the ground like that with that bridge pose, and just work this left hip, okay? 2 more breaths on this side. Good, now, if you can do it, bring your feet or knees together, so you're kind of floating, and then we'll take the legs straight up. Now if this is too much, put your legs back down. This is a little modified shoulder stand. So get a little bit of an inversion. I like to do a little shake like that, so it kind of encourages lymphatic flow. I haven't been hanging upside down from tree branches lately, so this is my next best thing. Alright, so then we're going to take the right leg down, okay, and stretch the right leg out, and then you're going to maybe hold on to this left leg, or it might be that the left leg just goes back. Now this is my tighter side, so for me just holding right there is going to be enough. Given the height of the block. And just opening up this right hip flexor area is what we're after here. Breathe deep, yogis. We're going to take the left leg down. We're going to bring nice and slow the right leg back where it came from. We're going to lift the hips up and slide the block or blanket or whatever you got under there out. And then we're going to pause for a moment and windshield wiper the legs. We got one more pose before Shavasana. Actually, maybe we'll do 2 because we probably have enough time for 2. Alright, so with the legs resting on the floor, we're going to curl ourselves up off the floor. Now again, you can have one hand behind your head to try to keep your neck out of this. If you can do it, use the abs to lift yourself, keep your neck just involved in holding your head steady. We're going to pulse the arms up and down like this. We're going to try to go for 50, just like this. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pause, extend your left leg out, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that one back. Extend your right leg out. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can either come back or extend both legs out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. That was so fun. Oh, just give a little core burner right before the end here. Let's take the legs over to the right. Oh, you could wrap them around one another or just let them hang out. And then reach through this opposite arm. Now sometimes I like the angle a little lower, sometimes a little higher. Just find one that you get a nice chest muscle stretch without causing trouble for the shoulder itself. And I'm actively rolling this shoulder towards the floor while simultaneously rolling this hip towards the outside. So I'm really working my obliques to get that twisting in two direction sensation. Try to do this, just a little extra bit of twisting, 2 more breaths. All right, we're coming back to the middle. Pause right there for just a second, don't go anywhere yet. Rinse out your arm, rinse out your legs, and then extend your legs out and see, do you feel a little bit longer on your left side than your right side? Oh, just a tiny bit. Let's do the other side. Oh, so we're gonna roll it around. Maybe adjust the legs so you've got a little bit more room. And again, once I find the right amount of chest muscle stretch without causing any trouble, then I'm gonna work these 2 angles. So I'm gonna bring my hip around and bring my shoulder to the ground using the abdominal muscles on the side here, these obliques. This is actually why their obliques run in 2 different directions, right? There's internal and external obliques because we need to be able to do this. Twist the upper body one direction while the lower body twists the other direction. You never know when that could be helpful out there in the wild. Breathe in. I'm still working those muscles, trying to heavy my shoulder blade into the floor while simultaneously bringing my hip around for 2 more breaths. And you can do this really passively, but sometimes it's fun to do this real active work. And then we're gonna let this whole thing get soft. Come on back to the middle. Oh, it's my favorite time. It's time for Shavasana, y'all. So if you have trouble with your low back, putting something under your legs would be really helpful. Giving yourself a little something under the head if your head and neck need a little extra support is really nice. And then once you've decided how to set yourself up, you're gonna stretch out on your back and relax. Now here's the thing, you're tempted to skip out of here and not do this. Somebody already has. Another one is gone. Don't skip this pose. You signed up for an hour-long class, just relax. See how I'm like bullying you into staying put? It's not working, but do your best. Relax, y'all. Your nervous system can use your ability to just let go for a few minutes. There's so much going on out there in the world right now. Active conscious relaxation is actually really good for helping to kind of recalibrate our relaxation response. sometimes it takes a few minutes for the body to really let go and relax. Notice if you're finally feeling that little gear shift. Let yourself sink a little deeper into it. Relax your forehead and your jaw. So don't move yet, yogis, but notice that you're breathing. And see if you can feel the breath travel through the whole body. As your inhale comes in, can you feel that inhale go deep down into the limbs? And let the exhale just linger on its way out. It's almost like the exhale is on vacation. Now take a breath really deep. Give yourself a big stretch. Exhale it all out. Wiggle your fingers and toes, and the wrist and the ankles. Give yourself a hug and a back massage. Oh. And then you can roll to your side to come on up. Hello. Hello, sweetie girl. Thank you for joining me this morning and for sticking around for Shavasana. You might still be there. Namaste, yogis.